This is the second video, and this video is basically I'm making to explain what actually is a tech, okay, how it works and what are the possibilities it will bring to the industry. So first of all, we have to understand where we are in the AI, artificial intelligence journey. I think actually today's artificial intelligence is in the era of Unix, when the computer processes were there, right? So we now today we can execute tasks, okay, we use agentic frameworks and do many more things, okay, that needs real execution power, basically in white collar jobs environment. Okay, now internet, AI interference, LLMs and human are interacting each other to perform tasks. So now I think in 2027 there will be a correction here, and many things will be enforced according to the AI requirement. Many laws will be implemented, many frameworks will be out, and also there will be correction in how we will be using AI to do perform tasks. In the same context, we are also building the tech called connector OSS or connector proto OS. So right now, in a simple word, if I have to say where it stands as a connector, is it solves the problem of control layer in middle of any LLM frameworks to real world execution. Connector sits exactly in between models and enterprise reality and controls actions, also tracks memory, enforce policy and produce proofs, which ensure what AI is doing, how AI is doing and why it is performing that task is provable, recordable, and the action it is taking is controllable using actions, approve, deny and human approvals. Let's talk about a little bit of its architectures. This is not a simple SaaS or a microservice or an API or any UI. It is a layered runtime. At the top, your apps and agent will be set in the workflows. In middle, there will be a connector execution and policy control layer, which is being controlled by connector routes or API and connector gateway to handle LLMs and other things. Underneath, there will be a proper memory kernel and cryptographic proof and execution kernel, which will be controlled by centralized kernel. All of this, all those 16 engines, one kernel and execution front end layer has a job, and together they makes AI behavior predictable, action controllable and provable. Let's think about a workflow, right? Only one request of workflow. Let's take a very good example on coding environment, right? Today we have lots of coding environment. Cloud Code is one of the famous. There is Windsurf, there is Cursor, and even in Amazon we have Kiro, we have Copilot. The all of them, what they do is they are the agentic framework or agentic workflow which allow LLM written code to be structured, maintained, and managed in such a way that that code can be used for real environment. The problem there is we don't have an actual control layer where human can predefine, okay, what a LLM can do, how they can do and what they will be doing, what they are not touching, okay, predefining, so the autonomous workflows doesn't get get like damaged or doesn't get like doing wrong things that they cannot be doing. Here connector comes, it evaluate risks, inject memory and check permissions, and every action is either executed, blocked or record it. So later you can explain and prove exactly what happened, where the data was came, so the AI took that decision, what happened, where did that happen and when it has happened. So we have a proper proof of execution of what actually AI did. And I think this is the most important thing in today's upcoming environment, which I will be terming as augmented AI environment. So let's dive a little bit deeper. Okay, I will not go in super deep, but I will explain how actually internal works. Okay, at the core, connector has two systems. One is memory and another is action. Memory kernel or VAC kernel, which tracks what happened with full lineage, and action which control what is allowed to do or what can be do. It has different syscalls, and then syscall is managed by different engines to make it human readable, then after human executable, then after it comes the surface layer which has ccl contracts written in python. You can write in python to control it, and also glue infrastructure and connector ctl, that is control panel, control layer or like cli. Okay, where the operators can control use the connector environment after it is configured and set up for your workflows. It basically answer one thing: what do we know? Another answer, it is what are we allowed to do? So basic terminologies that we can enhance. So first of all, let's understand, okay, where the things get real, like where it is becoming real is, I think everyone, not just enterprise but everyone who is using AI in serious environment, don't just want execution, they want governance. Okay, so you want environment where you can define policies and enforce it live, and improve it continuously as per its behavior. So here connector turns governance into a closed loop. It gives a closed loop environment, sandbox virtualized environment, to perform that governance. Think about that. Imagine, right? You have one workflows. Think of like flights, like flight, all those flights running in the space. Okay, you have like, you don't have traffic control, you don't have people there. Okay, but everything is executed. And think about, okay, only two pilots running that flight, right? So it's running, and if something accident happen, they will also die. There's no one to report it. So there in early 90s, they have introduced a thing called flight recorder, right? what if what if every autonomous environment or every AI execution agentic frameworks had a flight recorder, not just log but a full trace of what happened, why it happened and what it touched. So that was the main idea behind connector, a thesis called cryptographic chain of custody was implemented to introduce the concept of connector. Let's understand in little bit deeper what actually connector is. In basic term, if I have to say, okay, connector is a runtime control plane for AI system. It is not any UI or a thing that I already told. Okay, it is a backbone that sits next to your agent and tools and makes every system become policy aware, recorded and explainable, and control executable. What I see after working with lots of AI environment and everything, okay, today AI is in three category. One is execution demos, or demos that have been put in inside the real world environment to suck money. Another one is controlled demos inside the environment, okay, already in the backend teams they are testing it, the real world, like I mean real enterprise team in the backend, they have make their own workflows, they are using it. Another is LLM. Another is frameworks and tools that is used to make those things. So these are all categories, but AI looks very smart when it is in the demo, or when it is used for casual things, but in production it is fragile, like literally it is fragile. I don't understand some of the things AI do, okay, when I have to go and trace back, it's like, oh my god, what happened. Agent calls, like today agent calls APIs with real like with no real control, like they are just calling, you go, you just give the execution layer, you I no, some of the smart guys says, no no no, I put some of like HMC SDLT, like firewalls by default, okay, I know what I give, like I write all those steps, okay, that AI needs to follow in the prompt engineering format, okay. So but AI is a black box. Like until unless you don't control them in low level infrastructures, okay, it's not guaranteed that they will follow that. As the AI is becoming so intelligent, okay, AI can bypass that. Okay, that has happened in test environment. Production is not happening because today we haven't used in this kind of environment where AI get full control, okay, but it's evolving after 2027, after real, like real real environment are started getting executing, we will see this kind of problems, like datas are moved without lineages, like we are today we are giving lots of things, okay, even like today we see lots of like code get misplaced, okay, when we use AI, the .env files are being uploaded, or some of the like datas, okay, we are exposing all of them to the LLMs, okay, without any control, because there is no such things, cleaning and distribution is not proper in the AI infrastructure today. And and also there is thing when something broke, okay, we don't know what happened actually in AI environment today. We do have logs, okay, but we don't know actually, we have to do a proper guesswork. We don't have proper process like proxies allowed in Linux, okay, for processes. And there is where connector sits and solve this gap. Connector is built on three core ideas. First is to control the AI behavior, stop bad decision before that happens. Okay, that after is memory, keep structured durable context to use it to reduce API cost, to reduce context hallucinations, and improve AI productivity and stability. Proof. So exactly what happened with evidence, a proper cryptographic chain of custody, real artifacts, not just screenshots that needs to be evaluated for like by human for long term for any compliances reports. Let's understand who get what kind of value from connector. As per my research and my understanding, different like teams get different kind of value. Like platform teams get one control layer, whereas security teams get explainability of what happened. Compliances teams get evidence that can be used to provide real compliances reports, and product teams can ship things without fear in production because later chain have all those things that they need. Basically, in high stake environment like enterprises, in critical environment like healthcare, finance, and legal tech, you don't just need answers, right? When human is there, we just don't ask answers. We need to know what was allowed, what data was used, and why. But in computer, literally there is there is no sense of asking that. We can trace the logs, but we cannot ask the question. Why? Because we know AI is a black box interference, and if you are giving a direct access without keeping a control, you don't know what actually is happening. But here, connector makes it possible to control, answer the questions that you need to know. Most teams, like literally most teams, are building multiple agents, and there is no shared control layer. Like they are using lots of workflows. Agent is basically a workflow, right, with proper orchestration, memory, and everything. So but there is no control layer. Every team reinvents authentication, logging, safety, but that's fragile. Like there's lots of headache. It's not just headache. If you don't have a universal layer on this system, okay, eventually, okay, system started breaking. System, there have to be an expert in who will build everything from scratch, or either you have to use frameworks, okay, which doesn't have this kind of systems, and eventually it will break, and you have to hire some kind of risk management expert, and cost lots and lots of money. I think so. You have already understand, and here's the key thing: automation without accountability is very dangerous. It's literally like saying, okay, I will give you my all of the data, and you can post it into your internet. It's not literally mean that, okay, because there are certain rules and regulations, but you can understand like that, okay, if something goes wrong, everything is gone. But connector comes here, record every step, who approved, what changed, what failed, and also if you have already pre-configured, okay, certain kind of decisions are defined as denied for everybody. Like if you have a critical data, okay, only admin can access with password. Even in LLM cannot touch that. LLM will only get the context, and what kind of context, you have to clean the data using Kafka and everything. But if you do it right, now LLM gets what it wants to take, it needs to take the decision. Human keeps what human needs to keep. There, we all always know when augmented AI will evolve eventually, where human internet and LLM will start communicating for real world executions. We have to keep in mind some of the decisions should never be fully autonomous. Here, Connector route decisions to human when needed, record approvals, and resume execution. This is the most critical thing that connector provides and is very useful if you understand the context. So you even don't lose the momentum, but you stay safe in today's autonomous and distributed environment. Because real workflows have multiple steps, not just one prompt. Connector keeps everything connected with policy, memory, and trace across every steps. So you feel safe when you are using your own workflows. Today, we already know, and I don't have to explain those things. Like agent are not just chat, okay? They call APIs, run jobs, trigger systems, okay? Connector wraps all of that inside a one closed loop. A virtualization is done, and agent isolation is been created with same control and trace. So every agent have its own identity, understand its tasks, know the knowledge and instruction that he has to perform, so he only do what he is allowed to do, not like LLM doing everything, one LLM doing everything. Instead of that, you create a very niche AI agents that do specific tasks in workflows, so you have control of what is exposed and what is not. I think everyone nowadays, when you evaluate autonomous and distributed system, you look for security, data control, operability, and integration. Connector is designed to meet all those from day one. But in initial days, when we will be launching our first pilot for first 20 to 25 initial pilots for 2026 to early 2027, okay, we will be doing a closed loop environment pilots and testing and co-building the connectors and connector workflows environment, so it becomes stable when the real world correction is needed and when the real use of connector comes into the market. Today we know we need this like system, but the thing is that we don't know till now, okay, how to use it, how to get real benefit from this environment, because today still the system is running, okay, and then we are okay with that. But when 2027 hits, when cost, when control, and when like everything will be given to the consumers, and all those fundings and everything get lost or ended or get streaker, then the real value of connector opens. The more you will be using connector, the more value compounds, because internally it is a complex infrastructures with distributed network consensus, like for system for agentic logic virtualizations and blah blah things we have inside, right? Policy will reuse, like you will enhance your firewalls and policies, like memory grows, and if we have a proper not anthropic enthusiastic value, okay, which ensures, okay, your agent in a specific domain, okay, will increase his memory and knowledge and instruction value, okay, and you reuse it, so it become like an expert in certain field or certain domain, and system become more predictable over time. As every SaaS or everything, okay, here, if you need to use connector, you will never start big. You will pick one workflows and understand how it works, then you will prove your control and trace in your workflows, understand the core, understand the value it's providing, and understand how you can use it. In that, we will be teaming up with you to co-build your workflows using connector. Then you can expand it further in different workflows. That's how we want to build slow but undeniable trust in long term. If as a user you have to you have to remember one thing, is that AI system don't just need intelligence. That today is booming. Okay, we think intelligence is everything in world. Okay, now we are evolving towards, okay, observability AI. Eventually it will be a proto AGI, and by 2040-45 we will be having augmented AGI, and by 2050, if this is the pace we will be evolving and no correction, proper correction happens, by 2050 to 2055 we will be having a proper humanoid AGI. But we have to remember, they also need control, they need human traceable memory and proof. We don't want an intelligence that is superior than us and we cannot control them. We are making things for humanity, not to destroy it. And that's what the ultimate vision of connector is. I'm not claiming connector is at that stage today. It is very early. It is in the early phase of proto OSS, that is operating system substrate for AI using artificial intelligence operation systems. But eventually it will evolve into a system or architecture to give control to your AI infrastructures, memory stability and dehallucinations, and keep proof of action what AI is doing. So you have a proper control and trace of your AI environment. So this was a basic, like like explanations of what connector is. And in the video sessions I will be bringing some of the more demos. One demos I've already given. Okay, I will bring more so demos, like I will explain how to use connectors and everything. Eventually I want to build a great community, okay, who understand the need of connector and understand the thesis of cryptographic chain of custody, the new field of computers. Okay, because in today's world, today's distributed world, we just don't need logs, we need a real data from computers of how, why, when, where and who, and that where connectors will be evolving. But in the